Square Enix also came in. We're like, hey, we got something for you too, because Square Enix has been taking over this quarter of 2022. I mean, you have Valkyrie Elysium that's out. Star Ocean's around the corner. So is Harvestella. You know, earlier this
Yeah.
year they had some titles out. It's just they've been just coming in strong ever since they got rid of Crystal Dynamics and all that stuff. We're like, we got a little extra money. Let's put this to use. Let's just spread the love a little bit. So good luck.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy 16, they decided to give us a little more information about the story and the setup and everything like that. And based on, I'm gonna read a quote and then kind of a light plot of it. But the quote says, "Who shall claim their fading light from a single spark with the land ignite a new shadow rise to fall upon the dominants, painting their destiny black and as night." And so
Yes.
so, so basically the quote, basically the light plot is, it has been 1,500 years since the fall of the four our forebearers, and I'm going to butcher this name.
Valisthea.
There you go. Has been slowly dying ever since. Darkness spreads as days gives away a twilight. The mother's flame now all but a flicker. And as the fringe fades, the people flock to the mother crystal. So right off the bat, you see in the video, you get to see basically all these kingdoms that have their own crystal by the looks of it. And
Yep.
from there, it becomes kind of like I guess like a kind of like a Game of Thrones vibe. And you're seeing these chosen ones also get this power of, we see the summons from them. You get a little bit of Shiva, you get a little bit of Ifrit, Garuda,
Yeah.
Ifrit, all this stuff going on. Look like they're getting this ability on them. And then we get a little bit of the gameplay of seeing from, of course, your main gameplay of the hack and slash look like, to the big colossal battles from there. I'm intrigued now. I like the way the performance. I like how the trailer intrigued me enough. So I think I'll give this a chance compared to 15. I like that this looks like it's more focused on a group of nations coming together for this big thing, instead of focusing on this one savior per se, or it depends. It all relies on him. So far, that's what it shows. But I like the setup for what it is, because I like the fact that this is about the crystal in a way of, it affects everybody, instead of like, oh, someone stole the crystals, we got to go get it all back, kind of thing.
It's a mixture, at least from what I've seen. It's taking it a little bit back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
And the story in Final Fantasy 1, in 4, 5, a story about crystals, about this crystal's not working or that crystal's not working, or everything comes back to the crystal. Even when they tried to go back to it with 9, and someone said this, and it's kind of made me chuckle. But Final Fantasy is going to be about knights and castles and kingdoms again. And it's like, people got spoiled on the boy band Kingdom Hearts BS. But we're going back to basics, which that's fine. I didn't mind the boy band stuff, but it's nice to go back to, as a knight, you've got kingdoms. I'm just curious if they're going to do any form of party system, because from what I saw with the combat, it looks like you have your character and then you have like backup Eidolons.
So I heard that you only can be controlling one character and everybody else is just AIs. That's what I heard.
Interesting. So like 15.
Yes, except you can. I want to say I thought you could switch and control them. I'm probably wrong, but
you could call on them to do certain tasks for you.
Yeah, I heard like it might be the same thing like that. I guess. Yeah, it might be like that, but it looks like the gameplay is a little bit more hack and slash compared to 15 in a way, even though 15 is a hack and slash. That's me, just what I've read. I could be wrong, 100% all the way across the board. But I heard that they're no more NPCs. So,
well, I mean, if you think about it, what Square's been doing the last 5-6 years has all been building up to this. Nier Automata, it's been action RPG hack and slash kind of based. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy 15. they've been slowly advancing the system. I think I said this in a previous show, but yeah, everything's been leading up to this, and I'm not surprised. I'm not.
Yeah, I said the same thing too. If you really look at the pattern, ever since 12, we've seen it more active, from the moving around turn base to now more action with 13.
Yeah.
We've seen,
and I'm not mad at it. I'm not hating. Other people are going to be hating, like, where's my turn base? I want to take turns.
I do miss the turn base, which I wish that Final Fantasy got split into 2 series, a turn-based series and an action series. That's just my dream, but I get it. That's too expensive. But then again, I mean, Final Fantasy has so many different spinoffs that they do. I don't see why.
And honestly, is it just Final Fantasy that people want the turn-based, or do they want turn-based RPGs? Because there's plenty of those.
I think there's plenty of those. I think for the Final Fantasy series, I think it'd be cool to have, if we can have our cake and eat it too in his own way. Like, it could be, like, it doesn't have to be a main, to me personally, it doesn't have to be a main entry into the Final Fantasy. It could just be a side thing with his own story. And I think we get that with spiritual successors like that. I think Bravely Default is the one that's supposed to fit that bill, along with Octopath Traveler. Those are the turn-based as Final Fantasy. I only say that because they have the same elements in Final Fantasy, like your Phoenix Downs and all that stuff. So I call those their own little series. So I think we are getting what we want. It's just not named Final Fantasy.
I think, and I agree to it in the sense that gamers are so afraid of change, yet they are so vocal that they want different things. And I think companies are slowly starting to realize, it's like, wait a minute, y'all kind of don't know what you want until we give it to you, kind of. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that they're staying with a franchise, but Square's still taking risks in a different way. It's like same, franchise, but we're trying a different battle system. We're trying a different gameplay loop, different mechanic. And I mean, hey, out of all the Final Fantasy games that you and I have played, were there any that had a mechanic you didn't like? For me, it's 8. I just couldn't get into that.
I didn't like 15th. I didn't like I think I don't like the execution that they do it. The gameplay, the hack slash is fine. I guess my issue was with your partners. I feel like that they were too dumb in a way of, like, I have to micromanage them. And the only reason I say that, because you said you compared to that guy, the quote compared to Kingdom Hearts, because at least Donald and Goofy, and we had this conversation before, and I think you were disagreeing with me.
But they use up all your shit.
Yeah, I rather them use all my shit that they can use to heal themselves, because most of the time I don't really use potions that much, but I rather them use that instead of me pausing every 5 seconds to heal them. If that's the case, make it turn based. So, but either way, I haven't played 8 to grab onto that. But yeah, it's more of the journey that you probably don't like more than the battle system, because, like, I like 13's battle system. I just didn't like the journey. So
I did say the other day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give 13 another shot sometime soon. I really need to try.
Except one thing about 13 that I did hate. I like the battle system of what it is. I hate the way the way they have it where if your main character dies, it's game over. I don't like that system.
Yeah, no,
that's the only thing I don't like about it.
I could not stand. I don't like that function where it's like, okay, so because everybody's targeting my main character, if my main character dies, that's it. Like, my friends aren't saying, "Oh, she's dead. All right, well, throw down their weapons and just turn and walk away."
Right. Like, you could, if that's the case, you could have given the timer, right? If I would have been fine, like, hey, if you don't revive her back in 5 or 3 turns, then it's game over. Like, at least give me a chance to revive it, but don't make it instantly she's dead and it's game over. Especially if you're in a long battle and someone can do an instant kill on you spell, and it's like, if that's the case, then my main character should be off limit of instant kills. But they don't do that. And that's why I'm like, no. Never beat that game because of that. That happened to me. That's why I brought it up. I got instant kill on my main character. I'm like, why?
Yeah. I actually heard, like, there are some enemies you face that, unless you just know or you have the perfect setup, they'll just instant kill. You know, there's stuff like that in Final Fantasy X as well. You know, if you don't know what's going on, they'll cast this zombie on you and then heal you with a mega heal and then kill everybody. But if you beat that whatever phase and go to another phase, if you don't have zombie cast on you, they'll cast an instant kill and it'll instantly kill your party. So where it's almost like a noob trap. They call it a newbie trap. If you don't know, then you die. You don't have a chance to work your way out. I never like that, but a lot of people did. Apparently it rewarded folks who are like super grindy, obsessive about it. Cool, whatever. I don't know.
But overall, I don't think it was a bad battle system, but like you said, I just wasn't a fan of it. I don't know if 8 was a bad battle system to you or you just didn't like it.
A little bit of both, in my opinion.
Okay.
I did not like the draw system and the way they had it set up with the junction system, in the sense that you junction your guardian forces and then you junction magic that you draw to certain stats. And if you happen to use that magic for whatever reason, it weakens your stats. So you're always on the quest for the best type of magic to draw, which encourages you to get into more fights so you can keep drawing that magic and building up your stockpile.
Okay.
All right, cool. But one part that I didn't understand that, apparently my better half had to explain to me, because she liked 8, was you have to figure out strategies to where you don't need the magic. You just, use whatever physical attacks and your guardian force or whatever. So I don't know. It just frustrated me. It left such a bad taste in my mouth that to this day I'm like, screw you. I'm like, screw you, Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay.
I'll watch somebody play it. I sure as hell won't play it myself.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why I got it remastered. It didn't get the full love like Final Fantasy VII. I heard they consider it the black sheep of Final Fantasy, which I still think is 6. I guess the black sheep, but that's a different story for another day.
Oh man, that's going to be an interesting talk.
Yeah. But no, did this trailer change my mind how I felt about 16 before? A little bit. I'm intrigued to see what's happening is, because like I guess I have to let go of the fact that the turn-based games are going to be more for smaller projects, smaller titles, and not going to be these AAAs anymore. I think AAA games are going to be sticking with these action games for a while. So I have to get past that. But I always love the middle ground. That is like 12, Xenoblade Chronicles. I always like those, like, it's active but still turn. And you're using your timing of what you do in that time while you're doing stuff. So I always like that. That's me meeting in the middle. But I guess because like hack and slash, it gets kind of samey, especially if a lot of titles do hack and slash. It's like, well, it's hard to make your stand out in a hack and slash, but at least a turn-based, you can kind of make yourself stand out a little bit differently depending how you want to set it up.
Yeah, I mean, or the pacing of the battles and of the story. Because if it's a good story, then yeah, it's a hack and slash, but I'll stick with it.
Because the one I tolerate the most, probably, it's my favorite one in the series, is the Tell series. I think Tell series does a good job of how they do their hack and slash. So that where like it's a perfect balance where you're not always you have to slash to gain what you need to do something instead of just slash just to slash.
Yeah, you have to earn your action points. Yeah,
points. You have to do something like that. So I like that. And also weirdly enough, it's a multiplayer game, but it's difficult to play that game multiplayer because like the game focuses on your main character. So like if your main character decided to go somewhere and your character's not on the screen, well, you're not going to know what happened to you. And so it works in the 2D realm, like the old ones, because you just have one screen, everybody goes side by side. But in 3D, it's a little tough to figure out who does what in that game. Anyway,
that's true.
Anyways, does this intrigue you more of Final Fantasy 16 for you, or you're more like, I'm still not feeling it?
Oh, it's not that I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm still kind of meh, middle of the road. I'll wait to see some more, or because when they do Final Fantasy, releases and information, it's very like quick blast stream of information. This may be I'm going to wait and see how it actually is once it's out. Only because like I said, my list of day one's very small.
Okay.
So, but I'm interested. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I am going to keep an eye on it.